Some people love horror, some people don't. But that's understandable. They're just chicken. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Sorry, I don't know what happened there. So here are the 5 horror movie killers that Trippy Two-Toes can't get away from. Number 5 is Jason Voorhees. Hold the bloody phone right there. I see that mouse down there in the like feature and the dislike feature. I see that right over the dislike button. Lower that mouse down a little, okay? I know what you're thinking. Why isn't Jason number 1 on the list? Well, it's simple, and we'll get to that at the end of the video, or you can just skip ahead and see who it is. Then come back to this section. So, let's continue, shall we? Jason is the main antagonist of the cult classic Friday the 13th Part 2. The reason why Part 2, it's because he wasn't in Part 1. It was Pamela Voorhees in Part 1. Jason is more recognizable than Pamela Voorhees. He is a killer that didn't start with that iconic hockey mask he keeps over his ugly mum only his mother could love, but rather a potato bag. And I wonder, how was he able to breathe? Like, seriously, tiny holes perhaps? Over the years, he has murdered countless victims in only 10 movies. Why 10? It's because in Part 1 and Part 5, Jason was not the killer. I counted. And I'm not including the remake at all. Wait a minute, he was in Freddy vs. Jason as well. But I'm not counting that either. I'm counting the main franchise. Number 4 is Leatherface, the killer with the mean chainsaw, inspired by Ed Gein, a killer responsible for stealing a lot of graves and killing 2 people and turning those corpses into furniture. Now I know why I need to take a shower every time I sit on my chair. Number 3, Freddy Krueger. Speak of the devil, the dream killer. Freddy became a killer because of a troubled childhood. He was made fun of for being the son of 100 maniacs. And then a couple of years later, he became a child murderer. What a child murderer is as implied in the name, child murderers are people who murder children. Wow, this got dark. Happy Halloween. And then he got burned. Yeah, by a lot of people. And also the devil, because he went to hell. About 9 times, I believe. Or is it 8 times? Yeah, he went 8 times into hell. Oh. And that's where his story began. He has killed various victims, not as the same amount of Jason Voorhees. He has killed people in 7 movies. Why 7? Because he had a really bad remake. Ouch. No wonder why he's dead. Number 2, Chucky. Chucky the sadistic killer doll, the star of 7 movies in the Child's Play series. As said by Chucky in one of the movies, you know what they say, they can't keep a good guy down. Well said, Chuckster. Recently married to Tiffany, and he has had an offspring, Glenn/Glenda. Now I know where his curse came from. Bazinga! And finally, number 1, the moment you've all been waiting for, Pennywise the Clown. Now why does Pennywise win over Jason Voorhees as mentioned earlier? Well, it's simply because he's more horrific, and I'm gonna tell you why. So, welcome to the sewage circus. Hope you enjoy your stay. Do you have that pin on your nose? Hope you do, because this place is full of poop. In the good old town of Derry, Maine, deep in the deep dark sewers, lies a beast with a 27-year sleep span. Wow, I wish I could sleep for that long. At least I wouldn't have to go to school for 27 years. Am I right, boys? Oh, don't leave me hanging here. And a 2-year bloodthirst for children's fears. Like Georgie, for example, where he gets his arm bitten straight off and he gets dragged right into the sewers to get eaten by Pennywise. Oh, and by the way, I was talking about the 2017 movie, not the one from 1990. Or the ones from 1990. There were two of them back then. And that was a miniseries. And it sucked. Which had Tim Curry in the movie, or in the movies. And the kids were good too. It's just the adults that were stupid. I hate the adults in the miniseries. I wish Pennywise could just kill them all instead of, like, you know, making fun of them and playing tricks on their minds and stuff. Instead of that, do what Pennywise did in the new movie, trying to kill the kids. That's why it's called a horror movie, not a horror comedy. Pennywise is a supernatural beast who can freaking shapeshift into your deepest fears. So he could become my librarian that I used to work for back in the high school days. Because if that happens, oh boy, I'm bringing a gun or two. And they're going to have silver bullets in case if he becomes a werewolf. Yeah. And then he'll be asleep for 27 years. From there, he'll come back for me. I'll shoot him again if he becomes a werewolf. And then I am going to eliminate him for good. Well, I don't have to. The Losers Club can do that. So that was the top 5 killers in horror movies that Trippy Two Shoes can't get away from. You know why? Because they keep tripping and then they end up being their victim. By the way, directors of horror movies, don't use that cliche. We're tired of seeing it. Thank you. And sweet dreams. You'll float down here. They all float.